Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm answering another viewer question, and this is a really good one. Today's question is, why won't many psychiatrists listen to their patients? And please support my work on a platform. The links are in the description. I'm not able to continue doing this work without your support. Thank you so much to all who currently contribute. So let's get right into it. Your psychiatrist is supposed to be helping you. Your psychiatrist is supposed to be on your side. You and your psychiatrist are supposed to be a team to fight mental illness together. But this just doesn't always turn out to be true. So many of us have, in fact, experienced the opposite. So why is it that psychiatrists won't listen to patients? Sometimes there isn't time to listen, even if they want to. There also may not be time to listen because they're meeting with another patient soon. Unfortunately, there aren't enough specialists like psychiatrists to go around, meaning that some psychiatrists have a ridiculously high workload and they just plain burn out. While it is true that psychiatrists must maintain a professional distance from their patients in order to do an effective job, sometimes this distance becomes too large and stands in the way of a working relationship. This is related to the earlier point. Psychiatrists who don't listen to their patients may believe that their patients are crazy. I'm not able to continue doing this work without your support. Thank you so much to all who currently contribute. The crazy people, of course, are their patients. Because some psychiatrists believe this, they don't listen to their patients. They know what's best for their patients. They are, after all, the sane ones. If a psychiatrist never lets the guard down, the patient may never feel comfortable enough to open up. People with mental illness can't always make the best decisions for themselves. Some people with mental illness are so ill that they cannot make decisions at all. These cases, of course, fall upon the psychiatrist. In these situations, the psychiatrist must make the decisions for the patient because they're the only one who can. Unfortunately, sometimes this transfers to other relationships with even high-functioning patients who do know what is good for them. A psychiatrist who worked with severely ill patients may not realize that their patient in front of them is not severely ill. They may not realize that their patient is high-functioning because they're used to working with people who can't make decisions for themselves. They may make the decisions for this new patient as well. May not ask the patient what they want, what they need, or what they think would be helpful. This is a failing on the part of the psychiatrist. It means that the psychiatrist is not doing their job, but it's something to keep in mind when you're seeing a new doctor. If a patient never feels comfortable enough to open up, they may not divulge important information. If important information is left out, it may lead to incorrect diagnosis or ineffective treatment plans. The inability to listen, in this case, stems from the psychiatrist's need to be professional. Burnout is not their fault. It's a product of the system. Their compassion sensors may be fried from working with people who are hurting for years on end. Some psychiatrists have been beaten down by the weight of mental health issues that plague our society. We have to remember that psychiatrists are humans too, and humans are imperfect. Humans make mistakes. They get tired. They burn out. They sometimes forget to listen. When this happens, psychiatrists may stop listening to patients. They may be running behind schedule, which happens to all of us. Psychiatrists are humans too. Or maybe it's lunchtime and they're eager to run off and grab some food. Maybe their kids are waiting for them to pick them up from soccer practice. Whatever the reason, there may simply not be time to listen. Psychiatrists may think they know better than their patients because they simply know more. In previous generations, this was common. The doctor was the parent, the patient was the child, and the child was to be seen and not heard. We now know there are better ways to work a doctor-patient relationship. That said, some psychiatrists may still slip into a parental role. Here is an example of what this might look like. Patient says, "I feel like Prozac is making me too tired." Doctor says Prozac can cause fatigue. I can switch you to Zoloft. You won't feel as tired. Patient says, "But I don't want to take Zoloft." Doctor says, "You're a young person. You'll be fine." Patient says, "I just want to try something natural first." Doctor says, "Natural remedies don't work." Patient says, "But I read online that people have found relief with therapy and lifestyle changes." Doctor says those things are a waste of time. Let's focus on medications. The patient says, "I don't think that medication is right for me." Doctor says, "You're wrong. Medication will help you." What this is a doctor telling a patient what they want to hear. It's authoritative, dictatorial, condescending, and paternalistic. This approach does not empower the patient. Instead, it disempowers the patient. It tells the patient they know nothing about their own lives and that their doctor knows everything. A patient could argue that they did not consent to medical treatment in this scenario, but what choice really did they have? Psychiatry has come a long way from the days when psychiatrists were God and the patient had no say in their treatment. But some doctors still cling to the old school ways. But what psychiatrists forget, of course, is that while they may know more about mental illness, they definitely don't know more about any one person's experience of that illness, which is always unique. As a person living with bipolar disorder and a treatment-resistant form of PTSD, I've yet a lot of psychiatrists, and I've yet good ones, and I've yet bad ones. And no, I'm not diagnosing anyone here. I'm talking about my subjective experience with these doctors. Why is this? I'm not entirely sure. But puffed egos sure do seem to make their way into doctors' offices. Now, I would like to be clear in stating that not all psychiatrists have puffed egos. Many are quite humble and down to earth. But some psychiatrists, unfortunately, think they're better than their patients. In fact, some psychiatrists believe their patients are crazy, and they're the crazy ones. If you believe something is wrong with you and you're in charge of figuring out what that is, it seems you may automatically think you're better than your patient because you hold the answers. This kind of thinking makes sense, but it's not helpful. So here are 8 reasons why psychiatrists may not listen to their patients. No. 1. Psychiatrists think or at least act like they're better than their patients. Number 2. Psychiatrists think they know better than their patients. No. 3. Psychiatrists are pressed for time. It is an unfortunate reality that psychiatrists are squeezed by insurance companies just like patients are. Number 4. Psychiatrists may buy into a parental relationship with their patients. Number 5. Psychiatrists get burned out. Number 6. The professional distance they must have gets overgrown. Number 7. For some people, even psychiatrists, in the back of their brain, they're still thinking that people with mental illness are crazy and not to be believed. Number 8. People like psychiatrists tend to see the worst of the worst cases. All right, that's today's video. Thanks for watching.